Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Savvy Sunday. This is a place for entrepreneurs to meet, to be inspired, and to get the tools that you need to craft the life that you most desire. Today we'll be talking about websites, the best layout, and some tips on functionality to optimize your site to best convert those viewers into customers. So if you're someone that doesn't have a website, or maybe you've got a website but you're really not converting a lot of people that are viewing your website to actual sales, then this video is for you. So please hit the subscribe button and that notification bell, as well as giving me a thumbs up. It really supports me and the channel that I'm trying to grow, and it also allows you to be notified whenever I have a new video so that you don't miss out and you continue getting the tips and tricks to craft that life that you desire. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So let's talk about websites. The first thing you do before you do anything else is you figure out who your target market is. Now, I do go through this in a lot of detail in my online course about business branding. So I'll put the link below for anyone that is interested. But for the sake of this video, you just need to know that you have to really take into consideration who your target market is. And then before you even start thinking about the website design, the colors, the fonts, and all of that sort of thing, you need to remember the website is not for you. And it might be tough to hear, but it's not about what you personally like. Your website is for them, because you're not trying to sell to yourself, are you? It doesn't matter if you like it or not, because you're not there to pay yourself. That doesn't really work, does it? You're there to attract the people that you want to be providing your income. So whether you're selling a service or a product, whoever you're selling that to is who you need to consider when you're making the websites. The next thing is to make it really, really clear. If you've got too much information on one page, nobody's going to take time to read that. We're in a society now, and particularly because of social media, where everybody wants everything instantly. Nobody wants to have to read through pages and pages of information to get to what they're trying to find. So you need to make sure that there's only exactly what they need to know on each page. It has to be really succinct, has to be visually pleasing. So you do need to have really great colors that are going to resonate with your target market. You also need to make sure that your headings are on the top of the screen. A lot of people have them down the side, down the bottom, but again, people want things straight away. So people want to be able to instantly see, okay, I want to shop, there's the shop tab. Oh, I want to know about this company, there's the about tab. Oh, I want to know what they do to give back to charities, things like that, there's that tab. They can't be scrolling through and trying to find it. Again, it just needs to be instant for them to really easily know exactly where they need to go to get the information that they need. So if you've got an e-commerce store, okay, so, and it's a female clothing line, dress, shop now clothing up the top, or dresses, pants, really, really clear for them to know exactly where to go to be able to make their purchase. Because if you make them bored or you give them distractions, they're clicking off because they've forgotten how much they wanted to buy that thing. Have you ever done that? You've gone into a shop or you've gone on a website and then you've thought, wait, what was I doing again? I mean, it's not just when I'm shopping. That happens to me all the time. I walk into a room and think, why did I come into this room again? It happens to everyone. I'm hoping as often as me, because it happens a lot to me. But we're all so easily distracted. So it really needs to be as crisp and succinct and clear as possible. Same thing with imagery. You can't overload the images. You still need to make sure it's really clear and not too image heavy. Otherwise, again, it's too busy and it's really unclear what your message is on that page. And if people can't understand what you're trying to say to them, then you've lost them, because it has to be all about them. Now, the same thing with any text that you put on your website. It needs to be worded to resonate with your customer. So think about it. You wouldn't word your website how you would personally want to read it. Because let's just say, for example, you run two different businesses, and you run one business that is selling to 70-year-olds and it's a mature product, an anti-aging product, and you're selling it to the older demographic, right? But then let's say you've also got different products that are really fun and funky that you're selling to 15-year-olds. Even though it's still you still wouldn't use your style of writing to try and sell to both of those two very different age groups and different demographics, right? Does that make sense? So you would make your language for the 15-year-old target market really up-to-date, funky, all the latest lingo probably that they're using with the hashtags and things like that. Whereas you try to do that on the older generations that are maybe 70 plus, and you've lost them. They don't understand what the heck you're talking about. So you really have to think about how you're wording things, not for yourself, but for who is going to read it. The other really important thing is to have you language. So what I mean by that is not we do this, we offer this. It's if you want this, we can provide that for you. If you're using you language for your customer, it feels very personal, it feels very specific to them, and they start to feel like they really resonate with your brand and with your product. So you language is really important in your text as well. Now, the other thing is to always keep on top of current trends. So for 2019, I can tell you the scrolling pages are on trend. Also, having video content is very on trend, and it's actually going to just increase this year with more and more video content on your website. So it's important to keep up to date with this. I always do my research on this, so I'll be keeping you up to date. So you can always check in with me on my channel, and whenever things change, I will be sure to have a video to keep you updated on that. But for 2019, the trend is video. So it's really important to find something, a video that relates to your business that you can have on your website. So once you've got everything sorted out, where you've got things laid out nicely, that's not too busy, not too many images at once, not too much text for people to have to scroll through paragraphs and paragraphs to even get to the point, and to make sure your headings are all up the top, and that of course all your branding resonates with your target client, then it's time to think about actual functionality of the website. Because of course the main goal is to actually show up in Google when people are searching for what you're selling. There's no point being on page 250. You want to be on the first 1 or 2 pages, right? Ideally page 1. So a couple of things to consider. First of all, let's talk images. You really don't want to put the high resolution large files on your website, because this really slows it down. You really want to do 500 kilobytes at the absolute maximum size. You really want to optimize it for the web, and if you're not sure how to do that, I do really recommend hiring someone to do that for you, because there's no point having a website if no one's going to find it. So optimize that size. Don't have any more than 20 images on one page. If you have a lot of images, think about how you can break it up into subcategories so that you don't have all the images on the one page, because images take a long time to load. And think about it, even with images that are only 500 kilobytes, so that's half a meg, but you have 20 of them, that's 10 megabytes that the website has to load for the person to see it. Now, you may not know much about images or the technical side of the things, but I'm here to tell you 10 megabytes is a lot. So it will take a little while to load. So anything more than that, no, split up the page. The less you can have on there, the better. The other reason too, not just because it's irritating for the customer, and again, as I was saying, we all want things instantly, and if people have to wait, even if they have to wait 10 seconds, if you really think about it and count to yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, imagine getting to 10. Like, that's a long time to wait for a website to actually load, and it's too long. But the other thing is, Google knows this. You know, Google's smart. Google didn't become the giant that it is today by not being smart. So Google knows that people don't want to wait around for that. And they will penalize you for having a slow loading site. So don't do it, because they won't want you in page 1. They will prioritize sites that load quickly, because they know that's what their customers want. and they're in the business of making their customers happy, as should you be. So keep them, the images low. The other thing, really, your homepage should take 2 seconds to load. I mean, 5 seconds is pushing it for a homepage, because again, Google's going to penalize you. Now, you can actually check the speed of your website to see how that's tracking. I'll actually put a link below that you can click on, and then all you have to do is type in your website, and it will actually analyze it for you and give you an idea of the speed. And I'll tell you, when I first built my website years ago, I tried this, and I think it was taking almost a minute to load. And so it's through trial and error of understanding all of this that I've really brought it down, because you're just not going to show up in Google if it takes more than a couple of seconds. I'm telling you, it won't happen. So that's super important. The other thing with showing up in Google, another couple of tricks, is to always label your images. Don't just leave them with a generic DSC underscore 1234. Don't leave all those generic names on your images. Firstly, if anyone ever wants to save them, which, a lot of people will save your images for future reference and things like that, it'll typically download with that code, and don't do that. Make the effort to actually name them what the image relates to. So first of all, it's better for that, but most importantly is it actually helps Google know what the image is about, so that it can further help in the search engine results. So for example, if you are putting a dress online, you could put, and it's a ball gown, not a ball gown, and your brand is Gowns R Us. And you could put Gowns R Us hyphen or dash Gowns R Us hyphen blue hyphen gown. So it's really specific and telling Google exactly what it is, your brand, and what is in the image, so that when people are either Googling for you or they're Googling for a ball gown, then, or a blue gown, then that's actually coming up in their search, rather than just a generic name that Google has no idea what it is. And between your words, it should always have a hyphen, so a dash or an underscore. Either one works, but it does need to have that between the words for it to be most effective. So I hope that's given you a few tips and tricks for your website to better improve it. I'd love to hear, if you have a website, what you're going to change straight away to better improve not only your customer experience, but also your website results when people are trying to find you on Google. And if you don't have a website, are you excited to create one now that you've got a bit of an idea of a starting point and what you need to do to best attract those customers to convert them to sales? As always, thank you so much for joining me as we discussed websites and how to best optimize this for your business to convert those customers to sales and to always also rank better in Google. And I look forward to talking to you next week. Remember, I upload videos every Sunday for Savvy Sunday. And if you've subscribed and hit that notification bell, you will be notified as soon as it goes up. Thank you and have a productive week. Bye, everyone.